get out for the young people who listening to me. Try kung parang talagang feeling mo lunod na lunod ka ngayon sa sarili mo, try to get out first. Appreciate the world. See the life of others, no? Rather than yourself only, di ba? Try to relate with them and then connect with them through your pains, through to your dilemma. But don't do it alone.
Welcome to Not the Last Word, a Catholic podcast on finding one's path through stories from inspiring people. Every episode, we interview a person who has found a calling, mission, or vocation and listen to their stories about the adventure. This podcast is produced by the Santuario de San Antonio Parish's Social Communications Ministry with volunteers from the single young adults community. I'm Clara Gomez, and for this month, we're releasing the episode on February 25th, a significant day for our country as we commemorate the 1986 People Power Revolution. This historic event was one of the most significant people's movements of the century, where protesters took to the streets to return democracy to the Philippines. Today, we are pleased to bring to you this remarkable story of survival, courage, and compassion from someone who lived through this dark era of our history. Some of you may be familiar with the story of Liway, which was made into a film in 2018. This independent movie was written and directed by Kip Oebanda, who was born in a detention camp that housed both criminals and rebels. Set in the last years of the violent dictatorship of Marcos, the movie tells the very real and moving story of a mother who tries to shield her child from harsh realities, while life in the prison camp becomes more cruel and difficult. Sandy Suplido Adalem and I were fortunate to be able to interview the real-life Liway, Cecilia Oebanda-Pacis. Her story did not end with the events portrayed in the movie. Despite the great challenges and trauma she experienced, she went on to found the organization Voice of the Free and to continue fighting for human rights, a vocation she has chosen and continues to live to this day. A warning to our listeners: the content of this episode may be emotionally challenging as there are mentions of death, violence, and abuse. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to another episode of Not the Last Word. Today we are joined by Tita Cecil, known to others as Cecilia Oebanda-Pacis. I'm Clara Gomez, and with me is Sandy Suplido.
Hi everyone.
So, good morning, Tita Cecil.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
So, for the people listening, they might know you from a movie that's very popular that stars Glyza de Castro, which is called Liway.
Liway.
And we know this is an early part of your life po. But just to skip forward, um, what do you do now? And can you tell us about your organization po?
Yeah. Well, magandang araw sa inyong lahat na nakikinig, and I'm really grateful to be invited. And yeah, thank you. As of now, after our detention during martial law, I founded an NGO called Voice of the Free. Voice of the Free is an organization focused on giving justice to those who experience injustice. So kami yung organization na tumutok noon sa batas kasambahay, the domestic worker law, child labor law, and recently we focus on the issue of human trafficking. So siguro influence na rin ng aking ng aking naranasan at naranasan ng aming pamilya that justice for us is very, very important. It's really, I think it's the air that we breathe. And through our organization, we were able to help thousands of majority girls, young girls, who are victims of human trafficking. So we have a shelter called Center of Hope, where we're trying to reconstruct and provide new life to the victims of human trafficking.
Okay. And I think for those who will Google Tita Cecil's name, they see that the first parts of her life are a movie, but the other parts are also a movie. It's interesting and
Yes.
very action packed, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
story.
so I think we can go to the very beginning, ma'am. Can you tell us about where you grew up and how
Mhm.
you grew up?
Yes, I I have a very, as you said, I have a very colorful and complicated life, which I grateful to God, that, kumbaga sa hinanda niya ako para sa buhay na ito. No regrets at all, and looking forward to serve Him more. Taga-Negros ako, as already mentioned in the movie Liway. Doon ako lumaki, is galing sa isang mahirap na pamilya. Ang tatay ko ay simpleng manggagawa, gano'n na rin yung nanay ko. But my mother is very well educated, no, because they belong to like siguro mga old rich naman sa Iloilo, kaya lang humirap nung huling banda ng kanyang buhay. So it's a very good combination for the family, hard work, and of course nandun din yung yung pagtingin sa buhay, 'no, na maayos. I grew up in a very strong Catholic background. My mother is talaga siya, debutante siya ng Immaculate Conception, 'di ba? So, from the very beginning, I served in the church. I was a catechist when I was only 14 years old. And that's really create a strong foundation of our faith in service, sa lipunan. And during the time, doon dineclare yung martial law. So, nung dineclare na martial law, nung una, we just live an ordinary life. Wala naman kayong pakialam. I live a very, normal na, na buhay katulad ng mga bata siguro ngayon, 'no, sa disco-disco kami. Palagi lang namin pinag-usapan yung mga crush-crush namin. Tapos swimming lang kami sa ilog, so it's just really enjoying normal, simple life until the time that the military and of course the martial law also targeted the church. So, marami kaming mga young people na serving the church na. So, as a catechist until naging youth leader ako, marami kami. And of course, maraming mga madre at saka mga pare yung hinuli during the time. Dahil nag-oorganisa kami, pumupunta kami sa mga farm workers, mga sakada, doon sa mga mahihirap talaga, less fortunate. And we teach the word of God, no, mga Bible study kami doon. Kasi sa Negros dati, very popular talaga yung basic Christian community, no. And of course, during this time, dark time in Negros, which actually strongly hit by the martial law economically. Grabe yung famine, no. So, ang dami nawala ng trabaho, massive yung hindi lang poverty, gutom.
Mm.
So, ang daming mga bata yung namatay. So, kami naman, dahil we are really working on the basic Christian community, nagiging vulnerable kami. So, before I knew it, ang dami na ng mga kabataan, na mga kaibigan ko rin yung nawala, 'no. Yung iba, may one of my best friend was raped, tapos ang daming nakulong, ang daming so wala kang choice. For me talagang hindi ko na-imagine nung early life ko na mamundok ako, eh. I never imagined even to involve in any activist activity. I'm just a simple I'm just a simple girl who's just enjoying my life. Kahit mahirap kami kasi yung pamilya namin, grabe yung love namin sa isa't isa, eh, 'no, yung talagang close-knit yung family. And talagang kahit anong mangyari ayoko talagang maghiwalay sa nanay ko, 'di ba? Kasi siyempre that's my comfort zone, eh. Pero ano, yun nga, walang magawa. Before I know it, wala na. Kailangan ko na rin tumago. Kailangan ko na rin tumakas and or else either makulong ako, ma-rape ako, o mamamatay ako.
Um,
And yeah.
what could for those who so I'm sure a lot of our listeners don't know much about martial law. Um, why was the church being targeted and even the church youth being targeted during this
Well,
time?
because I think it's come the point na talagang sobra na yung hirap din yung mga tao tsaka yung repression ano, during martial law. And the only place that people look like a sanctuary is the church. And since the church is really, alam to ng mga taga-Negros eh, na yung church, syempre, ito yung sa mong takbuhan, this is the only truth that you have during the time. And this is the safe place that you can. No, kasi kung wala kang kakapitan at wala kang puntahan, talagang maghanap ka. And I believe that the church provide that kind of support and sanctuary. And we know as people na kung talagang nalugmok tayo sa crisis, saan tayo kakapit? Siyempre sa Panginoon, no? So halos lahat ng mga, of course, mga tao ay desperate and their last recourse is really to surrender everything and to hold on to their faith. So that's why I think under the leadership of Bishop Fortich, talaga nag-step up din talaga yung church kasi wala siyang choice eh. His people is dying, people is hunger, and of course as a church, that's your vocation natin eh. No? So and I think on the other side, yung sa ano naman, yung sa government during that time, nakikita nila yun na threat. No, rather than people are desperate and looking for a safe place kung saan sila pwedeng humawa. So, ang dami-dami kong alam at dami-dami kong kakilala na like me, ano ba ang alam namin sa pakikipaglaban sa pamahalaan? Well, wala. Wala talaga, no? And because of Christian teaching, because of our faith, that we offer ourselves to service and we offer ourselves to serve God during that time and the church.
So even in your early years, because of the circumstances, there was a lot of a sense of justice. I think. I
Yes.
think because the church teaches that, especially when in a time of injustice, it becomes so much stronger.
Was there ever a time that you had some kind of like a personal moral dilemma? You were at a crossroads where you had to make a decision?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have. Because during the time, I have a very good prospect naman of good life because I'm a scholar. I'm a swimmer. So I'm a varsity of Colegio de San Agustin, and that's a private school in Bacolod na kung kami lang, we cannot afford, di ba? So I have I have a really good future there. And of course, yung dilemma ko na I'm the second eldest child and I know that my parents depending so much on me and the future of my family, and of course I cannot afford to disappoint my mom, kasi ang ano ng kanyang dream para sa akin, ang taas ng kanyang pangarap, no, sa akin. So dilemma talaga. And the decision is really broke her heart, and it broke mine too, right? So, yeah, wala. But kahit ayaw mo man during that time wala kang choices because you have a limited choice. And siguro para sa iba, yung iba nga medyo reklamo, hindi naman pala yan talagang aktivista. Si Liway ay parang, yes, but that's a reality. Na wala kang choice, wala kang ano, but your choice is just really to, in the side of justice and in the side of righteousness, di ba? And I believe na parang hinanda naman ako ng Panginoon doon. Saka of course, life is not easy, especially nung namundo ako mga nasa 17 years old lang ako eh. Bata pa ako eh, naglalaro pa nga ako eh. No? So hindi siya madaling choice, hindi siya madaling buhay. It's not an easy decision for everybody during the time. Yeah.
From the movie Liway, we've seen that you were eventually detained. It's in the movie, but can you tell us about that time and what was going on in your life while you were in detention?
Listen. Nung nahuli kasi ako, buntis ako. No, I have my eldest son before nahuli kami, si Eric. And that one is also very difficult kasi I have to give up him. Kasi life there is not really easy, no? So, actually, sana ayoko na mabuntis ulit. Kasi I don't want to undergo the trauma again of being separated to your child. Pero yun nga, wala kang magawa. Hindi naman ako makauwi. So I have to give up on him. So binigay namin siya sa kapatid ni Rick. And I'm really grateful also kasi talagang minahal niya naman din si Eddie. So yun, nung nabuntis ako kay Kip, talagang intensive na yung military operation. And during that time, medyo hinahanap na nila. Kasi kunti lang kaming babae noon sa Kilusan. So, ilan lang talaga kami. Saka dahil sa pagka medyo nakakaiba kasi ako dahil galing ako sa lungsod, pumunta, iba yung kulay ko, iba yung ko, so parang napapansin. So, yun, it's an 8 hours running gun battle. Maraming namatay. And mayroon akong mga kasama na pinatay sa harap ko. Kita niyo naman yun sa movie. And until now, hindi ko hindi ko siya na overcome. In fact, if I watch movie Liway, yung eksena na yun, lumalabas ako. Hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pa napapanood yung eksena na yun. And we have malaking debate noon nung ginagawa nito ni Kip na i-include ito. Sabi niya sa akin, Mama, this movie is part of your closure. No? Aside, of course, a decision that we have to tell the real story during the time for people to understand what's really going on. But that side, I think deep in me, yun yung guilt feeling ko doon sa loob kasi yung batang yun sumama lang yun dahil naawa siya sa akin. No? Wala talaga siya kasalanan. It's just really because of his compassion. Naawa siya sa akin. Dami kong bit-bit so palagi. Tsaka excited siya. Yun ang curiosity lang. So, and then, of course, madaming buhay na nabuhis. And when nandoon kami sa kulungan, of course, hindi na nalagay doon sa movie. Mayroon ding interrogation. Mayroon pang stage na hindi din madali. No? Of course, nung nasa kulungan ka na, yung early stage, grabe yung guilt ko. Parang, alam mo yan, bakit ako buhay? Bakit sila namatay? Parang, why? At saka yung ano mo ba, yung guilt mo na parang, "Is this a right decision? Is this really parang worth na ginawa mo ito? Tama ba 'to?" So, ang tagal ko nang-stuck sa gawang stage na yun. Pero, um, the reality is I have my family with me, 'di ba? My husband who is also, I think, suffering also in trauma during the time. So, and then linagay ko sa isang sitwasyon na halos araw-araw hindi mo alam kung ano yung mangyari sa'yo. So, wala. Ah, I think doon din na slowly na-develop din yung resilience mo na tumanggap. And beyond everything para sa akin, nangibabaw talaga yung pagiging nanay ko, no? So, and I tell myself whatever I thought, I will make sure that my children will not suffer what we suffer in the past. Yeah. So this is really, parang nagbago yung perspective ko eh. It's parang nagiging for the future generation. No, whatever ay gagawin ko dun sa loob, anong gagawin ko sa mga anak ko, it's really for the future generation. So, wala. But I think, kahit ganun man yung sitwasyon, I found my faith stronger. And that's really holds me. No, during that time, I never feel closer to God than doon sa ano ko, sa life namin sa kulong.
So how long were you there?
Nakakulong?
Yes.
4 years kami nakakulong. Ayun pa nga yung nakakalungkot kasi matigas ulo ko eh. Of course, gusto nila ituro ko kung sino yung mga dapat ituro, yung kailangan ko. Of course, how can I afford to betray people, right? Alam ko naman kung ano mangyari sa kanila. So sabi ko na lang sa kanila, just do what you wanna do with us. Pero wag niyo akong pilitin to betray and to put others in a situation hindi matanggap ng aking konsensya at saka kaluluwa. So, sabi ng isang military sa akin, "Well, you'll be rotten in jail." So, "Ben?" No, nag-rot nga kami. Ang dami ng pumasok, tapos sila lumabas, kami nandun pa rin, no? And it's really sad kasi si Kip hindi maintindihan. So, una hindi maintindihan bakit nandun kami sa 4 na sulok lang ng mundo na yon, no? Alam niya kasi naririnig niya yung sa labas. Nung huli nakalabas na siya. Kaya nga't umaakyat kami sa puno, no, para makita niya lang yung sa labas. Kaya lang the more na marami siyang nakikita, the more siya na maraming tinatanong, no, ang daming komplikado hanggang sabi niya, "Hindi 'to, eh. We promise each other na hindi tayo mag-tell ng lie, eh." "Bakit? Alam ko na nagla-lie ka." Mga gano'n na. What's really happening? What's really going on? Yung ganyan. So kaya pinadala namin siya sa labas, dun kay tita niya. Pero kaya lang kasi sabi naman, mas importante pa rin sa kanya yung kasama kami. Kasama ko kaya bumalik. Kaya bumalik siya ulit sa kulong. Hindi madali kasi nakikita mo na lumalaki yung mga bata na you just live one day at the time.
Yeah.
At saka of course marami ka ring mga kasamahan sa loob na mix kami sa mga ano eh, may kriminal, may rebelde, iba-iba eh, iba-ibang mga kaso hindi mo alam kung anong klaseng tao yung mga kasama mo sa loob.
And
Ay.
when you got out po, what did you do? What did you and your husband do?
Well, actually hindi namin in-expect talaga na makalabas kami. Akala ko nga ano na dun eh, sabi ko dito na siguro kami tatanda, no? Well, of course, until na nanalo nga yung People's Power at saka kami yung isa sa mga pinakauna na una na nakalabas. Bago kami lumabas masaya yun, kasi 'di ba tinawag kami, akala namin nga firing squad na kami, 'no, firing squad na kami doon sa labas. Pagkatapos linabas pala kami kasi parang nagbago na pala yung yung mga leader doon sa labas ng military. Tapos pinapirma na kami ng mga kung ano-ano. So pagbalik namin sabihin na nila, "Laya na kayo." Eh, hindi kami handa. Hindi kami handa, saan kami pupunta, 'no? Wala naman kaming kahit hindi naman ako bumalik kami sa Negros na sandali 'no, after noon. Pero kaya lang kasi maano pa, marami pa rin yung patayan, marami pa rin yung hindi pa siya totally peaceful. Kaya umalis kami, pumunta kami sa kapatid ko dito sa parang mga wala talaga at saka parang sabi ko, "Ano ba 'tong lugar na 'to, ang gulo-gulo naman." Yung parang pagdating kasi sa Quiapo kami dumaan. Sabi ko, "Anong lugar?" Parang nagkaroon din kami ng cultural shock. But I'm just really lucky because my brothers are very, very supportive with us. So, pati yung mga anak. Nakakatuwa 'yan si Kip kasi dahil sa fixation niya sa mga river, sa mga dagat, nung pumapasok na siya, 'pag malapit lang naman sa bahay namin yung aming school, yung school nila. 'Pag naglalakad siya, hindi siya naglalakad sa daan, naglalakad siya sa kanal. Kasi akala niya river yon. So pagdating niya sa school, baon-baon. So,
Kaya po.
so mga gano'n na klase adjustment. And of course, mayroon kaming struggle ni Rick during the time kasi si Rick gusto niyang bumalik. Ako 'yun yung reason bakit kami hiwalay. Kasi gusto niya, he believed to serve, continue to serve. Ako naman, sabi ko tama na kasi sabi ko yun, ayoko na iwan yung mga anak ko. Tapos may baby ako noon, si Malaya. Sabi ko, natatakot nga ito sa ipis. Hindi ko na 'to puwede iwan kasi si Eric, it takes us 12 years in separation bago kami nag-unite ulit. So sabi ko, hindi ko na kayang puwedeng iwan yung mga bata. Igapang ko na lang 'to.
In Manila,
Hmm.
you were building a new life. How did you find the next thing you were going to do?
Pagkatapos of course ng detention namin, nag-start na kami talaga ng buhay dito. Ay nag-try din naman ako na din talaga, normal lang, kasi nag-help din ako sa business ng mga kapatid ko. Pero kasi kung sanay ka talaga in service, hanapin mo siya, parang it's it's the blood. It's the blood that runs in your body, it's the air that you breathe, parang gano'n. So during that time may mga nanay din sa Negros na, nagko-contact sa akin na sinasabing na, "Nandiyan yung anak ko sa Manila, hanapin mo naman." Kasi sabi, ilang taon na siya na hindi kumukontak sa amin. Yung iba naman ni-recruit na domestic worker, yung iba naman ni-recruit na para magtrabaho dito sa Manila. Iba nga 12 years old lang, yung mga kasambahay lang, mga gano'n. Sabi niya, "Pakihanap naman." So, may isang case ng kasama ko rin sa Banago. Sabi niya, "Sir, pakihanap naman yung anak ko. Nandiyan siya sa Manila. 2 years na hindi ko nakita." So, hinanap namin. Mabuti binigay sa amin yung address, tapos pinuntahan namin. Ang amo, sabi namin, "Wala na dito." Yun, pinakulong namin kasi nagnakaw yung bata. So, hinanap namin, nakita nga namin sa kulungan. Siyempre grabe yung struck nun sa akin kasi alam ko kung ano yung buhay sa kulungan, 'di ba? And this is a child and she's alone, 'no? So, nung nakita namin siya, wala namang kinaso sa kanya, inuutos-utusan lang siya doon ng kung sino-sino. So, napalabas namin. So, doon nagsimula, sabi ko, "Maghanap nga tayo, baka marami pang mga katulad ng mga bata na galing probinsya na nag-iisa dito sa Manila na walang mapuntahan at walang tulong na nakukuha." Naghanap nga kami, ang dami nga, lalo pa sa Luneta. Ang daming pagala-gala ng mga galing Negros na mga young people. na naghanap ng trabaho dito na nakaranas ng pag-aabuso at wala talagang mapuntahan. So doon nagsimula ang dating Visayan Forum na ngayon ay Voice of the Free. So doon nagsimula yung foundation natin.
I think in your story and in all of your endeavors, it really seems like such an achievement. But it also seems like you never felt like you were alone in doing this. Like who
Yeah.
was there with you in helping you or guiding you?
Well, for me kasi I believe na during that time, as I said, masyado nang strengthen yung faith. And after what we all endure, alam mo na yun, hinahanap mo na rin yung purpose ng life mo. And during that time, I think that's really my purpose. And I know that God is always with me. Kasi after I endure everything, hindi naman ako pinabayaan. And that's a encouraging truth in my life. Diba? And He never fails to send help. No? Maraming din taong nag-volunteer, ang daming tao na naniniwala sa cause, ang daming tao na umambag ng oras, ng panahon, ng resources. Hanggang before I know it, nabuo na namin. So, yeah. Sa journey kasi na ito, I would say na there are times na kung minsan na-overwhelm ka dahil sa mga nangyayari. But kung alam mo kung ano yung focus mo at ano yung purpose mo at para kanino, you'll always go back on that truth that you are just an instrument of God's work in earth. So, yeah, hindi madali, but basta nandun yung faith mo na yun, tuloy-tuloy lang.
I think it's extraordinary for people to hear that you endured that much suffering, but you didn't just rest after. I think a lot of people would be like, I'm resting because this is my reward for all I have suffered. But you continue to serve. Where do you find the hope and the compassion to do that? It takes a lot out of a person to do what you do.
Yeah. Well, I think siguro, I would say na yung foundation ko talaga has come from my mother faith. No? I don't know. Baka parang inherit na yun. Parang tinatanong ko rin yan kung minsan sa sarili ko, do I need really to define maybe the whole experience that I have and the journey that I have that makes me realize that in this world, what really matters is how we serve others, how we really, the mystery of life is really how to have compassion, and it's not about ourselves. And we do that faithfully, God will reward us because of that, of that, yung faithfulness mo sa virtues of serving and righteousness. So, hindi ko siya ma-define, hindi ko rin siya masabi kung saan siya nag-turn around na from here to there. Parang na siya siguro, parang inherit na gano'n. Ang siguro nag-aano lang siya, yung degree of being compassionate and kindness, and it depends on how you can give in a different situation. But it has no limit. No? Sabi ko nga sa mga anak ko, love and compassion and kindness is like a sun. Diba? Pang-araw siya. Pag sinagan ka, buo talaga kung saan ka pwedeng unless may choice ka lang na ito lang paanuhan mo, ibigay mo. So, it's a universal, it's a universal law that's inherent to every one of us. Kaya lang marami sa atin na hindi siya naibibigay dahil of our ego or selfishness. Well, the point that I have that also, no? Pero kasi if we are conscious that it's not really the gift of life that given to us, and how we practice that within us and share it to others, I think that's my perspective.
And I think just to add to what Clara was saying, the kind of suffering that you have seen and endured, for other people, I think it can be destructive, it can be impairing, it can make people also feel, vengeful. But for you, I see really a different perspective, and you were saying, it's this resilience. I was also curious, how did you like communicate this or share this with your family or and with your children, because they also witnessed all these things
Yes.
from really a young perspective.
Well, may ano din talaga, may stage din ng life namin na naging bitter din ako, 'di ba? Mayroon ding stage ng life namin na parang lalong-lalo na sa trabaho ko sa trafficking, na sometimes I have to check myself because my motivation is coming from anger, especially if you rescue 1-year-old sold to prostitution, cyber sex, things like that. My motivation is really coming from anger, but I know that anger is really destructive. Sa mga kids ko, simple lang yung rules ko sa kanila. Na, una, wala tayong aapakan kapwa. Pangalawa, um, in any situation, you need really to be kind, and siguro dahil yun din yung practice na sa bahay. na parang it's not always looking on the negative side, or we just let go. That's a reality that we need to pick up lessons only. Wala na akong magagawa doon. It never changed. Even bumalik man ako doon sa sitwasyon na yon, wala na siya. So I think for the family, we learn to let go of any sacrifices and sufferings, and just bring us lessons along the way. Kasi you can't be stuck there. Dumanas din ako ng self-pity.
Mhm.
Naawa din ako sa sarili ko. Nag-guilty din ako. Nagalit din ako sa sarili ko dahil namatay na yung nanay ko na hindi ko siya nakita. Ang dami-dami kong pinagdaanan din mga emotional, complicated feelings that I have. And I was stuck there for some moment. Alam ko na it's not already helpful eh. So the choice, and I think we really need a strong choice. Na we will not live on that part of life alone. I will never forget that, but I don't want to be there anymore, because I know that we can move. That's what I'm always also telling to the girls that we help in the shelter. These girls, wala sa kalingkingan yung sinaffer namin dito. Ay, grabe yung mga pinagdaanan ng mga bata na nare-rescue namin, inaalagaan namin. In life, we have only one choice, di ba? To stay in that room, to stay on that state, or to move on, and to find new ways of living and contributing to the greater good. So it's a choice. So kaya, pag makausap mo yung mga anak ko, kahit si Director Kip, ano yan eh, parang wala kaming, judgment is not part of our business.
Mhm.
Ano lang, tapos, always look on the positive side, but never also just ignore what's happening on the negative side. So very analytical, you know your opinion, but always look on what we contribute.
For a lot of our young people nowadays, there are a lot of questions about justice and how we move forward finding justice. I think for a lot of young people, the choice is often anger, but the question that they often have is, what do we do? How do we pursue justice? How do we discern a path forward? For young people, I think it's a difficult question. Like, how do I pursue the path to justice?
Mm.
What advice would you give to those young people?
Well, I think the path to justice is all written in the Bible. Nandun siya lahat. No? The Bible is really our guide in our life. It's a master plan. And it defines, I think, everything. But in a practical note, um, I think seeking justice is start not in yourself, but in putting yourself in the shoes of others, Kasi sometimes kung yung justice kasi is, your motivation is your personal justice, is magiging vengeful ka talaga. It's maging hateful ka talaga. At saka, magkakadevelop ka talaga ng parang sense of entitlement, right?
Mhm.
But if justice, you see it first in the perspective and in the situation of others, you will have a different notions and concept of justice, and I think um, by doing that, you need really you need a tool of kindness and compassion in the heart, right? Kasi parang sa ngayon, alam ko yung mga dilemma kasi ng mga bata sa ngayon, eh. Inapi ako ng ganito, iniwan ako ng boyfriend ko, yung magulang ko ganito, ganyan, ganyan. So masyado siyang personal. Yes, you do. Yes, sinuffer mo yun. Yes, kailangan mong maano yun, malampasan mo yun. Kailangan mo i-face yung trauma na yun. Pero kasi parang feeling, ang sinasabi ng iba, dig deeper within yourself. But for me kasi, if you try to, yes, recognize that it is, and there's time for that, for healing. But if you start to see others and beyond yourself, it becomes really different. And while we are focusing on others, now you reflect in your life, and journey within, and that's how you dig deeper. So that if you dig deeper, it's not really parang digging deeper to be rotten, but digging deeper in order to let it out and share it with others. That's medyo yung mabilis na way of healing para for me. So, yeah, get out for the young people who listening to me. Try kung parang talagang feeling mo lunod na lunod ka ngayon sa sarili mo, try to get out first. Appreciate the world. See the life of others, rather than yourself only, diba? Try to relate with them and then connect with them through your pains, through to your dilemma. But don't do it alone in solitude or in isolation. Kasi mahirap.
So, look outside to look within.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, put yourself in. Don't look inside, but put yourself in the shoes of others first.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, how many years has the Voice of Freedom been established, since it's been established?
After ng namin, after kulungan, siguro inano ko siya kaagad eh. Siguro mga after 3 years or 4 years, binild ko na sa ngayon mga 32 years na siya.
Wow, because
32.
it's really inspiring because ever since then up to now, hindi niyo po binitawan. It's still very something very strong in your heart and your advocacy. I wanted to ask, because now I think you may not have thought of it before, but you are a leader and you now inspire so many people. I mean, without realizing or without even deciding, I will become a leader, I'm gonna do this. You effortlessly, or it became natural to you. What is next for you, Tita Cecilia?
Well, actually, nag-retire na ako as an executive director ng Voice of the Free. But I'm still serving kasi a lot of people working in Voice of the Free has been there for 20 years, 18 years. So we journey together. So they're doing the day-to-day activity. I'm still helping in, of course, in policy making, and I'm involved a lot in a lot on international, global movements and policies. Kasi the experience that we have is, ang goal na naman namin is to share to others, di ba? Para at least what mistake that we've done in the past, hindi na nila daranasan, no? And how to effectively fight this fight of human trafficking and slavery in the world. So, sa ngayon, actually, ang ginagawa, aside of course sa helping, hindi na kasi mawawala sa akin yung voice of the free, buhay ko na yun eh, di ba? Um, Nasa shelter pa rin ako kasi mami-miss ko talaga yung mga girls na, so yun yung strength ko eh, nandun na pa rin ako. So palagi pa rin ako nandun. Tapos we have a project now. We are developing like an event center and a coffee shop for the survivors. And will be managed by the survivors. So, iba na naman. Kasi yung iba na umuwi na, kailangan na nila ng job, kailangan na nila yung... So, nandun ako sa ano na yun, parang how to sustain really the change that they have in their lives. So, yun yung pinupokusan ko sa ngayon.
So you haven't really retired.
Enjoy ako kasi masyado din akong physical, di ba? Siyempre nakapag-exercise din ako doon. Tapos sa ngayon, I'm really enjoying my apo. No, I have 3 beautiful apo here in the Philippines and I have 2 in the US. Malaya is in the US now. And that's really amazing. This little one, how they really bring you so much joy in your life. So, nag-enjoy ako sa kanila. Medyo slow down na rin ako konti, pero ang dami, ang dami pa rin mga ginagawa, no? Ang dami pa rin mga issues din na kailangan tukan. And yeah, pero sa ngayon, syempre nakakatulog na ako ng 7 hours, makakatulog na ako ng medyo maayos. Dati, hindi, nakapasyal-pasyal na rin ako, nakaka-garden-garden na rin ako, no? Dahil nakapag-asawa ako ulit, di ba? So, yeah, I have no complaints in life. You know, God is so good for me. And as of now, yeah, at 63, medyo happy naman ako. Enjoying what I can contribute.
Guess as among the last questions, for
Yes.
those who are considering entering development work, what advice do you give to young people who are considering entering development work?
Please, 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 we need you. We need you, people. I think the whole context kasi of working in development work is really service, you know, offering yourself. And beyond of course the economic part of it, no, kasi iba yun yung hinahanap, sahod, ano siya. There are also other development work that was more rewarding because the world actually recognized the needs of development work. No, so I think it's a very, very good alternative career for, you know, for everybody, lalo na sa inyong mga young people, because it's really, you know, create that impact in the lives of the people, and it's really create an impact in our nation, in our country. Without development work, wala, you just serve the employers and the business. Okay naman yung business, but of course it's quite different. No, and it's very rewarding. You know, it's very rewarding because you can see the fruit of your contribution, and you can see the change. Maybe not big time, but you know, every soul that you change.
Yeah.
It's really rewarding. So
Yes.
please, please join us. It's a good choice. It's a good choice.
So for those who are interested in Voice of the Free, or want to get in touch, what can they do?
Yeah, you can email us. You can visit our website and our Facebook, and there's a contact number there. Just feel free to connect, and we will definitely answer to you. No, you can. There's a lot of things that you can do. Kasi Voice of the Free now, we are going around the country, educating young people about the red flags of trafficking, of modern slavery, and other forms of abuse. Kasi there's a lot of emerging issues connected to slavery. And of course, we are looking also on the lot of issues in mental health. So we're going around the country because we have this movement called the I Fight movement. No. The I Fight movement is a youth movement that really create awareness and and create like fighters to fight within their family kasi a lot of families ngayon parents yung 'di ba mga parents din yung nagpo-push sa mga bata to do the cyber sex and other. So we are creating warriors in every families na sana to protect their families against it, even in the decision of going somewhere. So sa ngayon, we are in 400 school all over country. So you can join there. And we're doing also prevention program in the communities, but more on the economic side. Kasi alam namin na yung trafficking is also an economic issue. That's the, it's a root cause of the problem.
Yeah.
So, ang dami.
Okay, you will go
And of
just
course, we
visit
have
the
a
website.
shelter. We have
Yeah.
a
You can
shelter that
visit.
we need help there for the girls, Kasi may mga nakikita sila na parang mga kaedad nila, mga ate at kuya. Iba yung inspiration na kahit lang i-visit lang sila, kahit lang kausapin lang sila, iba yung impact sa kanila.
Okay. I think on that note, thank you, Tita Cecil, for this wonderful conversation. And for those listening, you could visit the website of Voice of the Free, see how you can participate and volunteer, and maybe look into development work when you have the time, something to consider, and joining us in that area. So thank you for listening, and thank you, Tita Cecil, for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you for listening to Not the Last Word, a Catholic podcast on finding one's path through stories from inspiring people. We plan to release one episode every month and to bring you new stories of people you may find interesting. If there's someone you'd like to be featured on this podcast, get in touch with us at notthelastwordpodcast@gmail.com. This podcast is produced by the Santuario de San Antonio Parish's Social Communications Ministry with volunteers from the single young adults community. Special thanks to Marlon Guanizo, Gracie Castillo, Irvin Co, Sandy Suplido Adalem, JJ Yulo, and Father Rayu Galoy, OFM.